Well, what I usually tell people, it's not the mugshot that I'm interested in, it's like that strange form of photography and what's behind it that kind of interested me. Like, you know, what are these things? What do they tell us? And, you know, there's that problem with photography, like, does that tell us anything about a person, or does it tell us everything? So it's still that kind of strange land that you can never really answer the question, right?
So, that was more of a comment, but it was well noted. Do you want to respond to that, or?
Well, I guess I still don't have any answers. I just kind of look at these and I'm still fascinated or curious. I try to talk to some of the people that were connected to them in so many different ways that maybe they could help me figure out, you know, what it is. So the film in general, Mugshot, I just wanted people probably going away thinking a little bit about a lot of the aspects of them, and they would probably have more questions for discussion, you know, afterwards or over a beer. And it's about photography, and it's about humanity, and it's about arts and culture, and it's about social issues. So there's a lot packed in there, but I think I wanted people to go away with probably more questions than any kind of answers I could come up with.
While you're watching it.
That actually I wanted to throw that to you as well, Dennis, because I love the archival, and I'm just wondering sort of what was involved in finding that, and also finding the subjects. Like, I mean, the guy that does the art and the city and stuff, it's really, really interesting subjects.
Well, the guy that does the art, Mark Michelson, is sitting right there, so thank him a lot for helping out with this. James Dubrow as well to add a lot of different insight, and Jeannie Tooman from the OPP, we found a wonderful collection in our own backyard, and this is probably one of the oldest in North America, so I think it was about a year of just getting to know people and just talk to them about the subject before we decided to shoot anything.
But what first prompted your interest in that? I mean, you sort of said photography, but I'm really curious. It's such an interesting place.
Funny story, but I was bored and looking for some reading material on the plane, and I was with Julie, and we went to a gas station and picked up the Slammer, and I read it on the plane, and I was just fascinated by this weird, you know, southern newspaper. And when I got back to Toronto, I discovered Mark's book, and I just thought there was something between the old and the new, and we just kept going and finding out what the story was about. So, fascination.
Yeah, curiosity. Other questions out there? If you are asking a question from the top, just like sort of yell out because I can't see you very well. Yep, go ahead.
For Lavia, how did you cast the couples?
For Lavia, how did you cast the couples?
It started out with friends, and then we found some people through Craigslist, actually.
Wow, you have a lot of attractive friends. Yes, up there. Were you asking a question? No, waving. Okay. Yeah. Yes, right back here.
Film Neophyte, could you take a moment to explain the technique that you used in the filming of those couples? I was not familiar with them. For Lavia.
If you could just explain the technology.
So if you think about a teleprompter where they read the news, instead of having the news, you project, you have two cameras, and they're on the subject, so and then you'd have two cameras, and then what's happening is this camera is feeding its live feed into a teleprompter that she sees. So she's just looking, it's like two-way mirror kind of thing. So she's looking at me and I'm looking at her, but the camera's right behind it. So it looks like you're looking directly into the lens.
Another question? Dennis, I really love the music in your film, and I thought it was a really, really nice, and I just was curious how you came to that. It gives it a nice tone.
Well, I have to thank Bob Wiseman, who's in the audience somewhere, and just an amazing score. There he is. And it was just... a new experience for me, and we didn't know what we were going to do with Mugshot music, but we just kind of evolved with the story, and we just went from there. And Stu Young did a great job with the sound design, so I was absolutely. I think the emotion really came out in the music of the Mugshots, and that's what I was after. So.
Yeah, I would agree, because they are still, but they do sort of emote. They need to get a lot out of it.
It's a hard thing to compose to, I'm sure. So, but Bob did a great job.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, the previous film was about photography and an obscure Arkansas photographer. And it was directed by Martin Levat, who's in the audience today. And I learned a lot from Martin along the way. Rob and I worked working with him, and yeah, it's a similar film, and I encourage anybody to see it. That's another TVO-produced film as well.
What was the name of it? Can you just repeat the name again for everyone?
It's called This Farmer Portrait of America, and it deals with portrait photography from a small town, and it's a different kind of story, but it's kind of the same thing.